What a beautiful life I'm in. All that I've got is all that I need. I got you, baby, you got me. What more could I ask for? Beautiful life. Beautiful life. We got beautiful life. I got what a beautiful life. Beautiful life. Listen, I woke up this morning, y'all. The sun was shining oh so brightly. I thought about how good this life is. Back in the day, it wasn't always like this. I think about the things we done been through. I think about the place that I come from. It wasn't always easy, so every day I'm thanking God for the beautiful people everywhere I go. I just need to see your smiling faces at my show. And when you're feeling real love from the family, every day is a gift, y'all, that's all I need. What a beautiful life. All that I've got is all that I need. I've got you, baby, you got me. What more could I ask for? Beautiful life. Beautiful life. We got beautiful life. I got what a beautiful life. Beautiful life. Happiness, you know, it feels real good, y'all. For us to get it, then we gotta work hard, y'all. Every day. And don't pay attention to the things they say when they tell you that you can't make it, but you can if you try, y'all. When life is rough, I know sometimes you wanna cry, y'all. Just keep the faith and don't question. Ain't no need of stressing. Your life is still a blessing. It's not about the cars, the money, or the clothes. You can believe these things will only come and go, but when you're getting real love from everyone you meet, it's a blessing, y'all. It's magic, y'all. What a beautiful life.
Hi, everybody. Today is February and March. February the 4th. And today we have a lot going on. On the line, I have Tom Pender, and in the studio, I have the lovely Miss Sharon Lucas. And my ghost intern is back. She's back. She just ran in. You couldn't see her, but that's what I was laughing at. Today, the first half of the show is brought to you by Good to Go Publishing. Good to Go Publishing presents My Boyfriend's Wife by Arthur Mache. My Boyfriend's Wife hits the stage at the Arc Theater on March 14th for 2 shows, 3 to 4:30 p.m. and 6 to 7:30 p.m. The cast is QT Jenkins, Tiffany Ryan, and Mr. Calvin Washington. Tickets are on sale right now. You can get them at arthurmache.ticketleap.com, or you can just visit Arthur Mache's website and you will find all of the information there. So thank you, Mache. She was a guest on the show, and actually the entire cast of the stage play My Boyfriend's Wife will be in the studio the end of February, the end of this month. The entire cast will be here, so make sure you get your tickets and make sure you're on the computer at the end of the month to see them. On the phone, I have Mr. Tom Pender. Are you there?
I am here.
Okay. And before we get started, I just wanted to say hello to, there's a group of children that I work with every day, and they recognize that I am in their computer. They are in Mr. Kelly's class, and their names are Trayvon, Bryce, Miles, Jalen, Kedra, Josh, Jayla, and Jalen. And I just wanted to say hello to them all because they want. It's funny, Mr. Kelly plays my show on replay, and they saw me coming down the hall, and they ran in the hall and was like, you're in the computer. So I told them I would say hello. So, Mr. Tom Pender, now, here's the first question I am going to ask you. I could not find you online until my intern told me that you go by Tristan McKinnon. So, how many names do you have?
Oh, many. many pseudonyms. As a matter of fact, I remember you asking me before we arranged this what you should call me.
Right. I know. I did. And I was like, oh, because every time I kept saying Tom Pender, I would type that in. And I'm like, okay, is he a ghost, or maybe I have his name wrong, because I couldn't find you. And then after I looked at your Facebook page, and then it was T. McKinnon. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Now, who is that? And then
all right, well, let me...
Okay, so go ahead and tell me. Tell me all of the acronyms or pseudonyms that you use.
Let me tell you the whole history here, real quick. When I was young and I was writing short stories and poetry, my sister told me I should write fiction under T. Michael Pender because it sounded like F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Okay.
And I already had my heart set on seeing book covers with Thomas M. Pender. So I thought about it, and I said, I'll tell you what, I really want to write fiction under Thomas M. Pender, but I'll publish my poetry under T. Michael Pender.
Okay.
So I've been writing poetry under T. Michael Pender for decades, and that's how I'm known in the poetry community, the local Macon community here, and some up in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And then when I got into writing more adult content, I shortened it to T. Michael Pender to T. Michael.
Okay.
Just because it was more anonymous, and people wouldn't necessarily know it was me.
Okay.
And then I recently switched publishers, and I just got the idea to just go all out. And with the next book, I'm actually going to start using Tristan McKinnon, and that's what the Facebook is already. That's what you found, the Tristan McKinnon under there.
Now, are you writing because I see, I do my research. So are you writing your contemporary erotic romance Sugar Cane under T. McKinnon?
That'll be Tristan McKinnon, yeah.
Tristan McKinnon. Okay, so I need to know, because I don't really know anyone, not a gentleman anyway, that writes erotic romance. So what's the difference between erotic romance and just erotica?
Well, to me, the difference is it's about love. Straight erotica might just be about sex.
Okay.
But to me, I am actually writing a love story. Mm-hmm. It's just that, we go a little bit beyond the norm in terms of the love scenes than most straightforward romance would.
Okay. And so when do you think, and I'm assuming that this novel, Sugarcane, is going to be released by your new publisher?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, it's being released under Rice World Publishing out of San Francisco. Okay,
so and when do you think that novel is going to be out?
I am actually finishing it, so I have not finished the writing. I am going to guess and hope that it will be this year, mm-hmm. but I really don't have a timetable on that right now.
Okay. And so what made you, is this going to be your first erotic romance novel, and what made you want to write this story?
Okay. The last book that I published, and that was the straight into Kindle. It doesn't mm-hmm. have a paper copy. That one was a little different. That was actually an erotic sci-fi story, mm-hmm. and that's kind of funny because I had this book on legal pads collecting dust. It was an old sci-fi story that I wrote mm-hmm. when I was, this was back in the 90s. And while I was starting Sugarcane, it occurred to me that if I just added some adult scenes to the sci-fi story, I could put that out right away. So that's what I did. All I did was I spiced it up, and it was already a complete story, and I put that out. So that's the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and that's written as the first adventure in a series. The specific adventure is called Assault on Takor, but that is only for Kindle. That's the only form that's in right now.
Okay.
That's on Amazon, and so that's the one novel I wrote strictly under T. Michael.
Mm-hmm. So now, if you're going to continue, or is Sugarcane, is that going to be a series?
That one, it's already got some buzz going because I've put excerpts out on my author page, and a lot of people are interested in reading that. So I'm thinking, I mean, I already know how it's going to end. I'm thinking I'm going to leave it open for further exploration yet.
Oh, so when you say that you're working on it, you don't mean you're editing it. You mean you're writing it right now.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
In my head.
See now?
Yeah.
See, now there we go. Because when you said I'm working on it, most people, when they say I'm working on it, that means it's done and they're editing. So let me ask you, are you doing like the author of Wool, where he wrote the story, with his audience online? Are you doing that, seeing where your fans or your audience wants to take the story, or you already know? You said you know the ending, but do you know like the middle, the entire story? Do you know the entire story, or are you letting that just organically develop?
I know the story. I want to sort of, and I just finished putting in. I wanted a little bit of conflict in this one spot. And so I did come up with that, and I put that in, and now I can kind of slide into the end.
Okay.
But I haven't had a lot of input on it. It's been my story, but what I have done is when I write a specific scene that I think people might like, I will post that on my author page just to get people to stay interested in discussing it.
Ah, okay. So now, do you find that that's helpful? Is that helping you with the story by posting, like the part that you think is interesting? Is that helping you with the story?
Sure. I mean, at the very, very simplest level, it lets me know that people are interested because they want more. But they will make comments. They'll say, "Oh, I see. This is going on," or "Why is this way?" And it helps me think around the scene.
Okay.
To work it into the story.
Okay. And so, do you? Okay, because I always ask this of some authors: are you writing it from an outline, or are you just letting it flow? Are you a pantser?
It really depends. I have done all kinds of different things. I have sat down with either a blank piece of paper or a blank screen and just started writing. I started to core with nothing more than character outlines and not really of an idea where the story would go. I just started it, and I followed it where it went. But with this, I have a rough outline, but I am kind of just making my way along. And there are others. I have a mainstream fiction that I've been writing for going on 20 years, where I have 100 pages of outline alone.
Okay, so I gotta ask, because when people tell me things like that, okay, 20 years, like you've been writing a story for 20 years. I couldn't imagine writing this, like working on the same story for 20 years. Like, why is it taking you so long to have that story completed?
Okay, well, let me clarify first. I haven't been writing for 20 years. I got the idea in the 80s, actually, when I was a college student.
Okay.
And at that point, the story is based on Citizen Kane.
Okay.
On Orson Welles' film Citizen Kane. It's sort of a retelling, but it's from a completely different angle. And something that big and daunting, as a 22-year-old, I knew I wasn't ready to tackle it.
Okay.
So for decades, I was just making notes. I would hear characters say things that were really good, and I'd write that down. And it started out as scraps of paper, and then it evolved into computer files, which were then merged together to make this extended outline. And because it's about the journalism business through the decades and all the history in America, I also spliced in actual historic events, so they could follow along all the things that were going on in the world.
So this is a fiction book, correct?
It's fiction, yeah.
Okay. So are you thinking that it's going to be done soon?
No.
No.
Wow,
that's honesty.
Yeah. I tell people, if I'm lucky, it'll be out by the time I'm 89.
Okay. How old are you now?
And then, of course, I'm 48 now. I'm about to be 49.
So another 40 years? Okay.
Another 40 years. And the punchline is, I have another book to write after that.
Well, what's the woman that wrote To Kill a Mockingbird? She's 89 and she just wrote the sequel. Mm-hmm. So, hey.
I just read that today.
Stranger things can happen. I'm just, now first, I got to understand at 89, like how long has that sequel been in her mind that she decided, you know what, 2015 going to be the year I write the sequel. I mean, I just don't even. I'm sure it's going to be a bestseller the day that it hits. Of course, it's going to be a bestseller.
Everybody's going to want it.
Oh yeah, of course, because I read To Kill a Mockingbird, so now I got to see what happens. Like I didn't think that was sequel worthy, but apparently she did. So hey, that's her prerogative. So tell all my viewers which name they can find you on Facebook.
On Facebook, I am under Tristan McKinnon. That is TristanMcKinnon. And I also have an author page called Tristan's Canvas. And that's where you can read a lot of the excerpts, now that's specifically NC-17.
Okay.
That's specifically for
I
the
kind of got that
audience.
by the picture that you have of the young lady with the young man laying on one of your photos.
That's the page, yes.
Yeah, that's the page. Because I was like, what? Wait a minute, who is this? It took me quite by surprise.
Right.
Okay,
but that has a lot of the excerpts in it, and also a lot of my poetry. And the neat thing about Sugarcane is the main character is a poet.
Okay.
So a lot of the erotica poetry that I've written over the years, I'm putting in as his, so I can get the audience also involved in my poetry.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, that looks like you're gonna have to, when this book is finally finished, you're gonna have to come back because we're gonna have to have a discussion about Sugarcane.
Absolutely.
So thank you for joining me today. And now that I know where you are on Facebook, I'll Facebook stalk you like I do all my other Facebook friends.
That would be great.
Okay, so I will talk to you soon.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
All right.
So that was Thomas Pender, and very interesting, because I kept saying that, okay, Tom Pender is going to be the guest, and then I never would find him, and it was like, well, he said he's an author, and here's his book, and I'm not quite sure where he is. And then my other intern sent an email, and he was like, guess what? He has 4 names. And I'm like, oh, okay.
He seems to use them all, too.
Yeah, he does. He uses them all. So right after a quick break, we are going to get right into, because I'm waiting for this exclusive announcement.
Harper Lee.
Who?
No. That's the name of the author of the To Kill a Mockingbird.
To Kill a Mockingbird. Harper Lee. Yes, she's the one that waited till she was 89 to decide that she was going to make a sequel. Right. Okay, so right after this quick break by Intrigue Publishing, we're going to come back and talk to the diva herself, Miss Sharon Lucas. And we are back, and I just have to say real quick, because we are right across the street from Howard University, and who would I be if I did not talk about this whole thing going on with this middle school principal and in the math and science department or something? But she fired the social studies teachers Because allegedly, because see, nobody knows her side of the story, and all we're getting is the parents and the student side, that allegedly she fired the instructors for teaching Black history. Now, I'm not quite sure why that's wrong. I know, Common Core, you got to teach Common Core and you have to go by curriculum. So, given that we're across the street from Howard University, if she decided that she wanted to come over and tell her story, I am more than willing. I'm here every Wednesday from 4 to 5. You can come on over, sit down right here in the studio, and you can tell us your side of the story. Now, for the kids to be on television walking out of class because they said, now, I didn't feel that was right. The parents should be doing something, not the kids. If the parents wanted to encourage their children to do something, then I would see them being outside with them, but just the children just wandering all around campus. Because to me, that looked like they was a free day off from school. That's what it looked like for me.
The teacher in you.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It's the teacher in me that was like, okay, if these students, and then the one little boy was on television talking about, well, they got fired because my teacher was teaching me Black history. Well, I really don't think that's the entire story. I think what could have happened was that they weren't teaching what the curriculum was. So that's all I have to say. Yeah. So that's all I wanted to say about that. So we have the diva. See, I always claim that I'm a diva, right? And this is the woman that I want to emulate. I need to emulate this reading diva right here. I met her 4 years ago. She puts on this awesome event. I know you've heard me talk about it before, the Black Authors and Readers Rock Weekend, because we be rocking, honey, when we at that. They do the book club strut when they come in there, and all the book clubs got the scarves, and we be getting it in, okay? Because, matter of fact, that's how I met Kimberly Lawson Roby, and she was on the show a couple weeks ago, right from there. Because I got to sit at the table with her. Oh, okay, y'all already knew that story. Because if y'all saw the show 2 weeks ago, y'all know the whole story where I was scared to eat my little bread. I just ate my little bread, and I ain't say nothing until after we left, and then she agreed to be on the show. So Miss Sharon Lucas is here today, and she has a lot of things going on in the literary world. She's not an author per se. She writes a blog. She has a blog. But she is one of the author's best friends. I have to put it that way, because when you write a novel, Miss Sharon is going to tell you, honey, that was good, or honey, no. Okay? That's what she's going to tell you. And she's honest, but she's fair. And that's what everyone loves about you. She has a book club, The Reading Divas. And she has an exclusive announcement that she's going to make, but not right now, because she's going to tell us what she has going on. She has an event going on February 21st of this month. And tell us a little bit about that event.
Well, I was, excuse me, I've been sick the last month or so. I was approached by the event manager at the Wayne Curry Sports and Learning Center.
Okay.
And asked if I would partner with her to do a few things, because she really wants to bring reading back to Prince George's County. So many of the areas around us have book fairs and this, that, and the other. We don't.
Right.
So we are partnering to put on a PG County book fest.
Okay.
And we thought that we would get started and kind of introduce ourselves celebrating Black History Month. And so we're putting on a 20 author showcase from 10 to 4 on Saturday the 21st at the Sports and Learning Center.
And if anybody lives in PG County, it is easy to get to. This is a beautiful facility. Plenty of parking. It's a lot of people go there to work out because they have an amazing gym there as well. But on the 21st, Miss Sharon, as you heard, she's hosting 20 authors. There's going to be an author showcase. I know a couple of them that's going to be there. D. Lawrence is going to be there. Austin Camacho will be there. And it is the good thing about this is because whenever Miss Sharon puts something on, people want to be there. Before and you said before we came on air that when you announced this, it took you how long to get people?
Well, we limited to 20, and I had all 20 authors in about 3 weeks.
And that just shows you the caliber of the events that Miss Sharon puts on, because the events, let me tell you, it ain't gonna be disorganized. You know how sometimes you go to these events and it's just foolishness going on and you don't know where you're supposed to be and people ain't there on time. Let me tell you, honey, when you go to a Sharon Lucas event, oh, it's gonna be organized. She gonna send you emails leading up to it. She gonna send you emails when it's over just to get your input. I mean, she asks you when you're there, you know, how's it going? Do you need anything? And so what made you want to do this? Like, besides the thing of, because you do a lot. I mean, you're retired, but you still do a lot.
What made me get involved just in general?
Yes.
Well, in 1998, I founded the Reading Divas, and I really enjoy the book club, but I wanted to do something more. And so when we celebrated our 10th anniversary, we had a brunch. We brought in Mary Monroe as our keynote speaker, and that's where the Black Authors and Readers Rock Weekend came from. For several years, we just simply had a brunch, and I realized that there was a real people have a thirst for wanting to know more. You know, how do you start a book club? How do you run a book club? Where do you find African American authors? That was at one time a big thing.
Right.
And I also think that African American authors need more support than other authors sometimes.
Yes.
And so it kind of grew out of that. The brunch started. I liked it. Once I realized people really wanted workshops and panels and whatever. 3 or 4 years ago, we went to the Rock Weekend, and we have panels to bring authors and readers together to give readers just more information that will make reading exciting for you.
Now, how do you, because, you know, I help out with different various conferences. How do you approach the people that you want to be? Like, you had Kimberly Lawson Roby. How do you approach someone like her? Or someone like, or is it because you Miss Sharon and they see you come and be like, oh, girl, yes, I'm there.
It's because I didn't have enough sense to be afraid. I guess that's really the way to put it, because the first year I thought about this, and you know how I am. I'm just kind of meticulous with, I got to have everything in place. And I decided I wanted Mary Monroe, and I sent her an email. I went online. I got an email address for her. I sent her an email. She wrote me back, and in a half an hour, it was worked out.
Wow.
So I kind of take the direct approach. If there's someone if there's an author that I really want to bring in, I approach them. The only thing they can do is say no.
I know. You know what? You're the second person that told me that, because Cyrus Webb, who is my counterpart in Mississippi, he said the same thing when he gets, the Walking Dead cast or the cast of the Have and the Have Nots. He said all he do is just sends the email and ask. He was like, all they can do is say no, and what is the worst that can happen?
Is they say no.
Is that they say no and you move on to the next
correct.
one. So I'm learning from that. I'm learning from you. I'm learning from him. And so when you did the February 21st one, then that led into you wanting to do something bigger in the spring.
Well, actually, the spring came first.
Okay.
We decided we really wanted to put on this book fest, and thought that having the February event would kind of get people used to the fact that we're going to have events at the Sports and Learning Center. I mean, I met with them today, and we're trying to design a little book nook where people can come into the center and sit and read a book and relax and whatever. So we're really trying to bring reading and literacy into PG County, and specifically at the Sports and Learning Center.
Okay. And so when you partnered with the young lady, is she letting you take the reins with this, and she's just going to help market it? Or, is she having a say in
we're equal partners, I would say, because my feeling was, once I talked with her and she asked me to partner with her, the fact that she could ensure that we could have that entire indoor track to do whatever we wanted for a whole day, who turns down something like that? I can't explain to you how big this place is.
Now, did she know of you before you
Someone
approached
introduced
her?
us.
Okay.
Someone told her about me, and it's been a very good partnership.
Okay. And so do you see that this will be an ongoing annual thing, or are you just going to try to do it just for a year and see what happens?
what we decided is that this is kind of our test year, and then I really intend to move out of it, other than maybe helping them with getting authors in. But we really want this to be a sports and learning center event. We want this to be something that really highlights the sports and learning center and what they're doing for reading and literacy.
So, and you also do a thing where you do Friday night drop-in reading?
Yes. That's also at the Sports and Learning Center. I think in September, we had our first meeting, and we have the Friday evening book club. And that's been, it's really been great also. No dues, you know, we really don't have regular book club kind of rules. You just drop in. We advertise what we're reading that month and encourage you to drop in. Last month we couldn't get out because of the snow. We did it over the phone. You know,
wow,
we've had Victoria Christopher Murray via Skype, and so we're just doing all sorts of things for Friday evening, a free book club, 7 o'clock. At the Sports and Learning Center.
And see,
Come anytime.
That's another way that, you know, because some people don't like the organization of a book club, and it's like, oh my God, I didn't read the book, and now I'm being ostracized because I didn't read the book. But this is not that case.
No.
It's, you put the book out there, people can go on to, I'm guessing, the website.
They can go on to the PG County website, to the Sports and Learning Center, and find out what we're reading
and find out what the book is. And what better way than you can just read on at your leisure. You drop in, and it's just like a discussion.
That's correct.
That happens. And if if you're one of the fortunate ones that get there when they have a really great author there, well, in my opinion, if you get to meet a author that has written a book, that's a good thing, because when else are you going to get to do that? I mean, I'm always in awe whenever I get to meet somebody that's written another book that I have read. I mean, for me, I've read all of Victoria's books. I've read all of Kimberly's books. And for me, just to show up in a place where they're there, oh my gosh, it's just like I'm a kid at Christmas. I'm 2 years old, and I'm just like, holding on to my teddy bear, which is my books, and I'm just there. I had a kid in my office yesterday, and he said he didn't like to read. And I said, why? And he said, well, because I'd rather watch television. And I said, well, you do know that reading a book is like watching television. And he was like, why? And I was like, because you get to know what the story is. You're watching the story, although you're reading it. I said, but the best thing about it is we don't have commercials.
That's true.
Books don't have commercials, and your imagination can take you, in different places. Now, being the president of a book club, I know that has to be kind of strenuous at times, because you have to pick a book. So is it up to you?
No.
Okay.
And you'll find most book clubs, we kind of move that around.
Okay.
There are 16 of us, and each month that we meet during the year, someone is designated the hostess.
Okay.
The month that you are the hostess, you choose the book, you moderate the meeting.
Okay. So when you choose the book, do you have to know the author? Like, if you choose a book based on your reading, do you choose based off what you like to read, or is it just something that catches your eye on Amazon?
It depends. I mean, it goes the gamut. I read a book, the club read a book several years ago by an author that we really enjoyed. We invited her. We couldn't work it out logistically. She contacted me maybe in September. She's written another book. She wanted to know, if we were interested in the book. I read it. January was my meeting. She came.
Okay.
And it was really wonderful. But it just depends. Now, on the other hand, I have 2 members who chose books that I knew the authors. And so I surprised them at the meeting last week by telling them, your authors will be here.
Okay.
Because I approached Austin
okay.
and Dion Piart. And so they will both be there. And they were just overjoyed that I have reached out. So it depends. But I think having the author there just gives you a different dynamic.
Yeah, and most people don't understand that an author does like to sit at a book club, because, you get the honest opinions. Whether they liked the book, didn't like the book, didn't finish it, put it down, why they put it down. You get those hard questions asked. I was at a book club in December, and everyone in the group loved the book except for one person. And it wasn't even like I was trying to ostracize the other ones, but my conversation was more with her because I wanted to know why.
Right.
And the funny thing was, she didn't finish reading the book. So she kept saying, well, I wanted to know why this happened. I said, but if you would have read the book, it would have told you in chapter 12 why she did what she did in chapter 10. And so then as the meeting was going on, she was going back. She was like, oh, I knew I should have finished that. I knew I should, so that gives you the opportunity to sit and talk.
We have a fine when you don't read the book.
Oh, wait a minute. A fine? Like, you got
Absolutely.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait.
You better come in there with your wallet out if you haven't read the book.
Not with your wallet out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, my goodness, you can't have a good discussion if the people in the group haven't read the book and aren't prepared to discuss it.
Okay. So what's the fine? Like,
it's only like $2 or $3,
okay,
but still, you got to pay if you don't do it.
So know if you belong to her book club, not the Friday night one, but her normal book club. If you don't read that book, come with $3 in your hand.
Can't be more than 15 minutes late. Have to have read, and you better not tell me you didn't buy the book.
No, don't tell her you didn't buy the book. You better tell her anything else. You better tell her your dog ate the entire book.
You have to have the book.
Okay.
You have to have read the book. And, and if you didn't read it all, then just pass your fine up. It's
so you have to. So even if you didn't read it all, you still have to pay that $3.
Yes,
okay,
that's not fair.
Yeah, that's true. That is true because some people. I was in a book club where one girl never read the book. She would just wait and listen for the discussion and then go read. And it was like, how's that fair to everybody else?
But see, I call those the social butterflies. They come to eat and gossip and go home.
There you go. And
that's
she always was late, but she was fly when she walked in. She was looking fierce. Okay. She was like 30 minutes late. And then the book club only an hour and a half. And and so the last hour.
And the same people there every month. Okay.
Right, exactly. So, we always know, she be here another 28 minutes. She be here and then when she breathes in, what y'all talk about? And it was like, no, you should have been here. Oh, well, okay, I'm just going to get myself a plate and sit down and listen to y'all. And it's like, really?
They're very
So you
social.
Coming for the chicken and the cheese.
Correct.
That's what you coming for, the chicken and the cheese. Okay, so, I want to know what this big announcement is.
Are you sure?
I am. You know what? Because I keep thinking that it's something to do with the Reader's Rock weekend.
I laughed when she said that. I asked her, do you have any idea what it was? And she says, oh, you're probably doing something with the weekend. And it's not that.
No. I'm glad I didn't bet money on it.
Okay. I have been thinking about something for a couple years, and I finally approached someone that I respect and told them what my thoughts were, and they told me, if you want to do it, I'll support it. And I have decided to write a book called Book Clubs, Events, and More.
Get out of here! She's gonna be an author, y'all. Ooh, y'all know this is gonna be a bestseller because she knows everything about book club events and how to plan them and all that. Oh my goodness! So when are you thinking about doing this?
Oh, it's written.
Get out of here!
Yes.
What?
And I just sent it to someone.
Get out of here!
So we shall see.
Oh, you gotta come back when it comes out.
I will.
Yes.
I am excited.
Oh my God! You think it's my new book coming out?
I really am.
Oh my gosh, that is great! You heard it here first, people.
Yes, you did.
Miss Diva herself, Miss Sharon Lucas, is writing a book on book events and book planning. And oh my God, this is going to be one that all of my listening audience is going to want out to go get. Because, okay, tell us a couple things that you talk about in the book.
Well, I'll say this. The biggest difficulty that I had was making it flow. Because really, book clubs are one thing. Events are totally different.
Right.
And then you have to kind of bring them together. I just went from point A to point B. Just how you get together to get a book club, how you write your bylaws, how you run your club. Tried to answer all those questions. On my blog, I have a Ask Sharon page. And so, I looked at a lot of the questions that I'm getting and whatever, and that helped with that part. The events, that's just something, Sandra, I love to do.
Right.
And I kind of have that down to a science. But I think that there are a lot of people, I've been to a lot of events, and I'm sure you have too, where people just need to manage them just a little better.
Did y'all hear that, people? Manage to, in other words, be organized, okay? Because, nothing is worse than going to an event that's not organized.
It's true.
And that really puts people off. Not only the public that's coming, but the people that are there showing support for that event. It was an event I was at, and it was so disorganized. I didn't know who was running it, didn't know who to talk to. The person that was running it, she was trying to run that and the food and take the people vending money. And it was just a mess. It was a hot Mississippi mess, okay?
And one of the hints that tips I give is start on time and end on time.
Yes.
Because if you don't do those two things, nothing goes right.
Right, exactly.
And I know that giving up a little, maybe what you think power is, and I don't think it is. I just think that you have to learn how to let other people help you.
Right, exactly. Delegation.
If you want things to flow, then you have to know what you're doing. You have to kind of map it out. But there's nothing worse than going to an event and sitting there and saying, why am I here?
Right, exactly.
There has to be that wow moment.
Right. Yes.
So.
And see, the wow moment, and I'm going to keep bringing this up, the wow moment at the Black Readers Rock Weekend is the book club strut that happens at the luncheon. First let me just say that the luncheon is priceless. That is priceless because all the vendors, all the authors are in the room with all of the public, and then we all sit at different tables. It's not like all authors over here and you got book clubs. No, you have the book clubs at tables, but then the authors go and sit amongst the book clubs, which is priceless. That's priceless because you get to hear, like I said, I was taught at the table with me and Kimberly was a book club from New York. And to hear and they were an older book club, and to hear how they chose their books and, the questions they ask and how they, research the author and all that, it was good for me because it's like, okay, this is what I need to do. Sending out, mass emails is not something that some book clubs want. That's right. A lot of authors get it in their head that, okay, let me just go find all these book clubs and I'm going to email them, or I'm going to, worse yet, send them my book without asking.
And what happens is there are only 12 months in a year.
Right.
Most of us don't meet 12 months.
Right, because most book clubs take the summer off.
Yeah, they take the summer off, or, at Christmas we have a party. We don't discuss a book. So you're talking maybe 12 books that the average club reads a year. If 50 people are sending me emails wanting me to read their book, how long would it take us to read that many books? So, and I know you know this because you're always emailing me, but I finally put an automatic response on. We cannot invite everyone. We cannot read every book. But if you will send me your book, I promise to share it at the Black Authors and Readers Rock Weekend, because even though I haven't read it, I haven't reviewed it, the very fact that it's getting out into the community, it's getting in somebody's hands, should make it different. Right,
exactly. And that's the good thing. That's one of the things at the Readers Rock Weekend is that everyone gets a book to take home. And, they're sitting on the table, and it is very nice to see that, even though, and she knows because I do email her. I don't send just the book. I don't send no book to Miss Sharon because I already know. Don't be sending me no book. See, I might get the honey. Now, don't be sending me no book. So what I do is I will send an email and I say, this is a book coming out. Here's what the synopsis is. Would you like to read it? I don't assume that you will just because I know you. And a lot of authors think, oh, okay, well, I know her, so she's going to read my book. But that's, you just can't do that. Yeah. And a lot of people don't understand that you do want to honestly read the book. You don't want to just read the back cover and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I can write a review for this. Have you, when your book club reads a book, do you tell them, post a review on what they thought about the book?
I asked them.
Oh, okay. Oh, I said tell them.
And in fact, it was interesting. The author who was with us in January contacted me after the book club meeting and explained to me that her publisher wanted her to get more reviews. And that was the first time I'd ever had that request. And of course, I went to everyone and asked them to please review the book for her, because here again, in the African American community, we don't review the way we should.
Yeah, and that's another not sticking point with me, but it's like, I give away a lot of books a year. And most of the time I'll say, if I give you this book, please, if you have the time, please review it, especially if you read it. But if you don't have the time to review it, pass it along to someone. I'm not opposed to you passing a book along that I've given you. But then to just say, oh, okay, well, I just don't have time to do that. Well, okay, but you asked me for the book. I didn't come to you for the book. You asked me for the book. So if you're asking me for a free copy, I think that doing a review that will either, if I'm gifting it to you on Kindle, it comes up at the end of you reading the book, right? On Kindle, would you like to review this book?
Push a button and
push
it's
a button
over
and go. I mean, that's what I do when I review books for the guests. I ask them to gift it to me on my Kindle. I read it and I always say, within 3 weeks, I'll have it read and my review will be on there, because that's just what I feel you should do. A lot of people just don't have that.
But I honestly think that a lot of people don't have the confidence to write reviews.
Okay.
Which is different.
Yes, that is.
I think that there are people who, I can't write that well. I don't know what I'd say. And what we really have to begin to educate people on is a review is not a book report.
Right. Exactly.
It is not an essay. It is a few simple sentences. This book engaged me in the first chapter, or I really didn't get into this book until the third or fourth chapter. I really liked it because, or I didn't like. 3 or 4 sentences is enough. And I honestly think that Amazon should stop letting people write these epistles that retell the book. I don't want to know what happened in the book. I just want to know, did you like it? Would you recommend it?
Exactly. Because, I have read these long dissertation reviews, and it's like, and then the first sentence is, spoiler alert. Well, that's not your job as a reviewer. Your job as a reviewer to say, I like this book because. Most of the time, like a review that I gave for John Gilstrap was, his book actually made me burn my dinner. Like, I started reading this book and forgot that I had put dinner on the stove until I heard the smoke alarms. And then I was like, oh my God, I didn't put the book down. I just turned the food off. I mean, so it was like, that to me was what everyone needed to know. This book made me burn my dinner.
That's right.
Do not start cooking before you read this book.
Because you're going to be engrossed.
Exactly. And so that was all my review said. And he said, well, you know what? That was the best review anyone had ever given me. They didn't give me this whole, I liked it and the character and this and that. I was like, well, I was just being truthful. I mean, I am who I am. I'm just simple and simple-minded at times. So, and the truth is, the simple truth is what authors need.
That's right.
So, you know what? It flies by every week, but what else? Okay, you have the February 21st. When is the event in May?
The 20... I brought myself a cheat sheet today.
So listen up, people. Do you get your pens, your pencil, and your paper ready? Because she's going to give you some events. And I'm going to have this on a commercial starting next week so that you all can see it. But she's going to tell you right now what's going on.
Well, last year I had my first women's retreat. You
yes,
were there,
I did. Yes, I'm going back. I'm going back.
So we're doing that May 16th and 17th at the Chesapeake Beach Resort. On the 23rd of May, we'll have the Prince George's Book Festival. I'm from a little place near Pittsburgh called Johnstown, Pennsylvania. And they've asked me to come home and put on a book festival for them. So I'm going to start looking for authors.
We're there. You already know 2 authors, at least probably 4 authors are already going to be there.
Who want to travel to Johnstown, Pennsylvania with me in August.
We will be there, yes.
And then, of course, October 16th and 17th is the Readers Rock Weekend, and I just hope all of you are there.
Yes, and let me tell you, people, if you are an author, you need to get on the Eventbrite Black Authors Readers Rock Weekend. You need to book to be a vendor at this event, because let me tell you, the women and men that come to this event come to support author. So if you are an author, you need to get with Miss Sharon. You need to look her up on Facebook and find this event because you want to be there in October. It is the best event ever.
And I keep it real simple. You want to find me? Go to www.realdivasread.com. Everything is on there.
Real, REAL, divas, as the two of us are.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. RealDivasRead.com. That's where you're going to find all the information. You'll actually see some pictures from the previous Readers Rock weekend. All this information will be on that page. You'll get to see some authors that actually comment regularly on the Real Readers, the Real Divas Read. Real Divas Read page, because they go on because Miss Sharon develops great relationships with these women, and they are there. Mary Monroe, I mean, I just can't even begin to. When she was at the event, I was like, oh, she's good. Oh my God, Mary Monroe is here. I mean, and Pat George Walker.
Yes.
She's going to be on the show.
Pat George A. Walker.
George A. Walker.
And I hadn't announced this, but since I'm here, I will announce it.
Oh, another announcement. Ding, ding, people. Pay attention.
One of the highlights this year will be, we will be helping Donna Hill celebrate her 25th year as a writer, which I think is really exciting.
So exciting is beyond words. When I have all of her books. Every single one.
Mary and Donna both started as writers for the True Confession magazines, and she's celebrating 25 years.
Wow.
She asked me if she could come, and we're going to highlight and celebrate her on Friday night.
If y'all need to go to Real Divas Read, because it's going to be hot in October.
You know who our keynote is this year?
No.
Dr. Daniel Black.
Dr. Daniel Black is going to be, yes, Perfect Peace author will be in the building in October. So, you know what? This is not just for readers. Fans can come as well. If you want to meet some dynamic authors, you need to sign up. And I will have all this information on my website. I will be tweeting it out. I'll have it on my Facebook page, and I'll have the flyers up so that every week that leading up to these events, I will have something out there. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm just so beyond happy about this new book coming out that you have.
Well, you know, I'll be getting you a copy.
Oh,
just
yes.
As soon as it's
yes. I'm just so beyond excited about that.
Thank you.
Because you are so phenomenally successful in the Prince George's County area. And her husband David is here. He's behind the screen. Hi, David. And he is her resident photographer. Takes amazing pictures. He gets us all together at these events, and he's always there supporting. And it's always great to have a supportive husband. You know, he is the supporting cast to her show.
He retired because I did.
Oh, see, now that's real love, people. Now, see, if you want to know true love, you need to look this woman up and her amazing husband, because even down at the women's retreat, he was there taking pictures, people. Okay, that's how dedicated he is to her vision. And she has a vision that she wants literacy to be a number one in PG County, and that's what she's doing. So we need to get out and support these events. The event coming up February 21st at the PG County Sports and Learning Center in Landover, Maryland on Sheriff Road. And everybody know, if you live in PG County, you know where this place is, people.
If you can get to the Redskins Park.
Right. If you can get there, you can get here, okay? And it's going to be from 10 to 4 p.m. Going to have 20 local authors, so come on out and support. And you will be amazed. You will pick up some great books. First of all, get your kids into reading. We need to get our kids back into reading, to pull them away from the television, pull them away from the video games, and get them to read. Do a family reading night. I'm all for the family reading night. So, I had a full show today, people. I do want to remind you that on February 7th, this coming Saturday, it is the National Black HIV and AIDS Awareness Day. Now, even though it's just a day, every day needs to be HIV and AIDS Awareness Day. But UDC University is giving free HIV AIDS testing from 8:30 to 5 p.m. They're doing free testing and free giveaways. So if you want to know your status, which everybody should know, especially if you're single and out here having fun. You need to know your status. Go down Saturday to UDC, University Health and Services Building, from 8:30 to 5 p.m. And especially, I'm saying this to all the college kids, because you get out to college and you lose your mind when your parents ain't looking. So make sure you hop on down there to UDC. It is anonymous, but you will know what your status is, but you do need to know your status. Real quick, I had to get up on my soapbox, and I told my cousin, hey, Swangin family, that I was going to do this. It was so funny because people on Facebook can be foolish at times. And this girl had to change her, my cousin had to change her Facebook page 3 times. Why? Because a friend just liked a picture of hers, liked it. Then the friend's girlfriend was all up in arms about it. Well, first of all, people, if your girlfriend is getting on someone else for you liking a page, then y'all got more serious issues than you liking someone's picture. This ratchet behavior needs to end, because if you don't trust the man that you're with, maybe you should not be with him. So don't go hacking his account because you're trying to see what's going on. Clearly, you are insecure in your relationship. Clearly, you don't trust this person. And clearly, you want to drag somebody else into your foolishness. Don't be foolish. Don't be all on Facebook just being just ridiculous. And that's what it is. It's foolishness and ridiculousness. If your boyfriend likes a picture, it's not that he's saying he's sleeping with that woman. They could just be friends. Ask him. If he says they're just friends, believe him unless he has given you a reason not to. And if he's given you a reason not to believe him, leave him. Case closed. I'm off the soapbox. That's all I had to say about that, because this ratchetness going on Facebook is just foolishness to me. I can't take it. Every day, okay? So coming up, we have Truth 360 in the building coming up at 5 p.m. At 9 p.m. tonight, we're going to have Kay Lowry Moore with Conversations and Confessions. And then at 10 p.m., it's I Now Pronounce You Single and Happy. So make sure you stay tuned for the rest of the WLVS family. I am in 27 countries. And if you are with me every week, my ghost intern is here. She's tweeting out every week. And last week, Paula won the book from Valerie Coleman, the goodie box, talking about why he won't marry you. So she actually won that book. So congratulations, Paula. And I want to thank all of my sponsors for today's show: Arthur Mache, Intrigue Publishing, and from me, and the exclusive announcement from the diva herself, Miss Sharon Lucas. We are having beautiful lives. We hope you are too. See you next week.
What a beautiful life. All that I've got is all that I need. I got you, baby, you got me. What more could I ask for?